High up in the snow-capped peaks of the Ötzi Alps, a couple of seasoned hikers decided to take a shortcut off the beaten path. As they navigated the freezing terrain, they spotted something brown protruding from the ice. Getting closer, they realized it was a human body. Assuming they had stumbled across the tragic remains of a modern mountaineer who suffered a fatal accident, they reported the discovery to the authorities. But when forensic experts arrived to extract the corpse, they realized this man was remarkably old. He was a 5,300-year-old murder victim, mummified naturally in the glacier ice. This is a carved stone slab showing ancient cuneiform writing from Mesopotamia, which was developing around the exact same time this man died. We usually learn about ancient history through grand monuments, elaborate symbolic burials, and the writings of empires. This man, however, wasn't carefully laid to rest in an elaborate ritual. He was violently killed while fleeing through the mountains, frozen in place exactly as he fell, still wearing and carrying his everyday gear. By examining the everyday items stuffed into his wooden backpack and mapping the injuries across his body, we have a clear, intimate record of the physical reality of daily Copper Age survival. To understand how he lived, we have to look at his final days. He is exhausted, breathing heavily in the thin alpine air, and actively running from a violent conflict in the valley below. We know this because he bears a deep, unhealed cut across his right hand. He engaged in close-quarters combat just days earlier, barely escaping with his life before beginning this grueling trek. Forensic analysis allows us to reconstruct exactly who was making this climb. He is about 5 feet tall, with brown eyes and medium-length brown hair. To survive the freezing temperatures at this altitude, he is wearing highly engineered, specialized clothing. His legs are wrapped in thick goat leather leggings, topped with a heavy, long fur coat. He insulates his head with a thick bearskin cap. His leather shoes are woven with bast fibers and tightly stuffed with dry grass to retain body heat and prevent his toes from freezing. This complex, multi-layered clothing system reveals a society with advanced environmental adaptation skills. After days on the move, he finally takes a much-needed break. He pulls out 2 birch bark containers that act as a Stone Age thermos, holding live hot embers wrapped in maple leaves so he can instantly start a fire. By the fire, he eats his final meal, dried ibex meat and a grain porridge. This simple ration reveals that his people already understood how to dehydrate proteins for long journeys and had access to cultivated agricultural crops. This 3D anatomical map shows the physical toll of his daily existence. His lungs are blackened from years of breathing in campfire smoke. His teeth are severely worn down, and one of his toes has suffered frostbite. The internal wear is even worse. He is battling constant diarrhea and severe stomach cramps, the result of a whipworm parasite infection tearing through his digestive tract. To manage the pain, he chews on a toxic bracken fern. He is intentionally ingesting it in a calculated attempt to kill off the stomach parasites. Surviving in this era required vast practical knowledge of botanical medicine. Early humans were diagnosing and treating debilitating diseases with the specific flora available in their environment. Resting by the fire, he inspects his gear. Several arrows are missing from his quiver, likely lost during his escape. He attempts to carve new replacements, but he struggles because his carving tools are completely worn down from constant use. He also carries a highly versatile copper axe. Casting this metal requires temperatures of over 1,000 degrees Celsius and specialized expertise, evidence that advanced metallurgy was already a widespread part of life. Together with a wooden-handled flint dagger, this axe serves as an essential multi-tool. It functions for heavy woodworking and, if necessary, as a deadly weapon in close combat. But his blades are dull and require immediate sharpening. The battered state of his equipment highlights the relentless, exhausting labor required every single day, simply to maintain basic survival readiness. Suddenly, his quiet rest is violently interrupted. His pursuers have caught up. A flintstone arrowhead violently pierces the space between his shoulder and second rib, severing an artery and causing him to bleed out in minutes. He died alone in the snow. Because the freezing temperatures locked his body in ice exactly where he fell, a brutal, isolated murder scene was preserved for 5,000 years. Today, keeping him preserved is a full-time job. He rests in a high-tech cooling chamber in Bolzano, Italy, where the environment is strictly controlled at -6 degrees Celsius and nearly 100% humidity. Decades after those two hikers found him, scientists are still extracting new data from his remains, providing clear evidence of ancient genetics, immune system responses, and even specific health conditions like Lyme disease. The details of his death and the items he left behind provide a record of his time. His remains show that early humans were resourceful, highly skilled, and resilient survivors, navigating a harsh world.